right, and then we'll open the town board meeting at the town of Tuesday, May 28th, 2019 at 6:30 p.m. We just did roll call. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, item 3 is comments from citizens present. Does anyone wish to make any comments? All right, item 4 is the consent agenda. Items listed under the consent agenda are considered in one motion unless a town board member requests that an item be removed from the consent agenda. We have the May 13th, 2019 town board meeting minutes, the May 20th, 2019 town board minutes. We have some operators licenses, and to allow E.H. Wolf & Sons fuel invoices to be paid by ACH to receive a 5 cent per gallon discount. Does anyone have any questions or comments on the consent agenda? Does anyone want anything removed?
I make a motion we accept the consent agenda, including 1 through 4.
All right, motion by Linda Beal to accept. Is there a second?
Place a second.
Second by Mark Moonen. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 5 is approval of bills.
All right, tonight's accounts payable, our top 5 expenditures are the Waukesha County Treasurer for June Patrol, April Prisoner Housing, and the County Trunk Highway KF and JK Capital Project Sharing for $63,445.38. Village of Heartland for the Fire Department's payment for the ladder truck, $4371 of $10,000. Beerbicker and Associates for planning work, including TID miscellaneous town meetings for $7,810.13. Hamilton School District for the April mobile home parking fees for $4,159.14. And to E.H. Wolf & Sons for bulk gasoline, $2,021.40 for a total APs to be approved $96,216.72.
Any questions or comments? Does anyone have a motion on the check registers?
I'll make a motion. We approve the check register as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mark. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 6, announcements, correspondence. I have the meeting schedule. Monday, June 10th will be the next town board meeting here at the town hall at 6:30. June 17th will be a park committee meeting at 6:30 at the Richard Young Memorial Fire Station. The sanitary district meeting was moved from June 19th back to June 12th here at the town hall at 7:30. The next town board meeting after that will be June 24th at 6:30 here at the town hall. The town offices will be closed on July 4th and July 5th for Independence Day. And then after that, July 8th is the next town board meeting at 6:30, and then July 11th will be a plan commission meeting at 6:30. Does anyone else have any other announcements or correspondence to note? Oh, I missed the June 13th plan commission. Or did I say that one?
No, you didn't.
June 13th, we have the next plan commission meeting here at 6:30 at the town hall. Guess I skipped over that one. Anything else? All right. We have the Village of Richfield Comprehensive Plan Amendment and Public Hearing Notice. That was the other announcements. Anything else to add? All right, item 7, department reports, administrator report.
All right, just a couple quick things. As you know, I've been working on the impact fees since last year, figuring out what subdivisions have paid how much and what, and over the years we have accumulated some funds. We do need to start working on getting a spending plan for that due to state statute requirements. And I've been working with Park Director John Greighton. He's got a couple of projects for the board to think about and discuss. Not tonight, he's going to come back at another meeting with it. Right now, we need to spend at least $17,647 in funds that need to be spent within the statutory timeline, so we can at least get a project going, planning, engineering, and we're looking at bringing forward either flush toilets to replace the pit toilets in Community Park, or to replace the Town Hall Park Pavilion and include flush toilets and a kitchen with a sink. Once we pick a project, then we'll bring them to the board, and then we can pick one and start an RFP for costs and get that going. The other thing the board needs to discuss is a spending plan, and you'll see on the second page of my report, I have it broken down by the year it was received, the amount the building fund has, the amount the park fund has, and who or where it came from, and when we need to spend it by. So we have about, we're at $167,881 in buildings and $18,705.71 in parks. So you don't have to spend it each year on something. You can spend the whole chunk that we have and then build it up again for more projects, but they have to be spent within 8 years from when we get them, and we also have to tell the developer what we're going to be spending it on. So that'll be for another agenda, but just wanted to put it out there right away so you can start thinking of stuff. Other things is the assessment services RFP. Last meeting, the board directed me to send one out. I'm going to send it out on next week in June. And the 4 assessment companies that are most used in Waukesha County are, obviously we use Grota, so we'll send them one, Magnet Assessment Service, Tyler Technologies, and Schultz Appraisal Agency. And I'm going to have them due back by Friday, June 21st at 4 p.m. That's all I got.
Okay.
All right, any questions for Gina? Thank you, Gina. Clerk report, Dan.
Sure. So license renewals. We got the inspection report back from Brian, our building inspector. He's gone through every facility. Everyone's good. I got the report from Waukesha County as well, and everyone has passed their inspections. So those licenses or those renewals will be on the next town board meeting. Board of review update, just as we discussed earlier, we're going to be holding the meeting Wednesday, June 12th at 6 o'clock here at Town Hall. Depending on what other meetings are occurring, we may have to move it halfway through, but either way, we'll get it done. We've only had one objection so far at this point, so we'll see if that stays. But and other updates, the county clerk's office is going to have a countywide municipal clerk meeting on July 25th, so I'll be attending that. They're going to have an update on electronic poll books, so they'll have an update for you guys on what they discuss and if we want to implement that in the future. And then lastly, I will be on vacation starting on Thursday, and I'll be back on June 5th, which is Wednesday. If anybody, staff, or you guys have any questions, just email her. And I'll also be out of the office July 15th through July 19th for the Clerk Treasurer Institute. So again, if you have any questions, email Gina, or I will have access to email at that point. So I'll still respond. So that's it.
All right, any questions for Dan?
No.
Thank you, Dan. All right, the fire department report, I've got that. Special activities and events, April 5th, they assisted in the controlled grass burn at Lake Country Jewelers. On the 7th, the Bark River hosted the Bob Page Lecture and the paramedic class at the Richmond Station. On April 10th, there was a station tour for the Boy Scouts. On the 11th, Bark River Explorers Training. On the 13th, Lisbon Fire attended the Easter egg extravaganza at the park. On the 14th, they attended a fundraiser for Mr. Isabella. On the 16th, an annual meeting was held at the Richard Young Fire Station. On the 20th, Lisbon Fire Department attended the Hamilton High School Color Run. On the 23rd, they attended the Hamilton High School Assembly, a movie shown on auto accidents caused by distracted driving, in which Lisbon Fire participated in along with Waukesha Sheriff's Department. The film was produced by the students. On the 27th, Lisbon and Merton covered the Heartland Fire Department for their awards dinner. Meetings attended by Chief Brom. On the 1st was an officer meeting. On the 4th, Bark River meeting. On the 8th, Bark River Chiefs meeting. On the 11th, Flight for Life meeting. Also on the 11th, President of the Fire Commission meeting. And on the 16th, annual town meeting. The 17th was an officer promotion panel for the town of Waukesha Fire Department. The 25th was another Bark River meeting. The 29th sent Captain Drager on to the county POD's meeting. And on the 30th, Pewaukee Fire Department training site project. We had 53 total personnel in April. There were 82 calls, 14 inspections, 15 trainings, and we had 12 in education. Does anyone have any questions on the fire department report? All right. Supervisor reports. Does anyone have anything to report at this time?
Nothing. We'll next meeting, after we have our monthly meeting on the 12th.
All right. Anything else from anyone?
I would just note that today I got a phone call from a resident. I unfortunately did not catch her name, and I hung up on her in the middle of her call because my phone glitched out. So I apologize for that, but the call was concerning her concern over unleashed dogs in the park, and I've reached out to John about that.
Okay, thank you. Anything for you, Mark?
Do you have a number to get back to her then?
No, the caller ID, I tried. The caller ID rang back here to Town Hall.
I also spoke to her today in the same
Oh,
same avenue of correction. She'd like just informally to talk with Parks Director and
Your name
have it.
Julie by chance?
I didn't catch a name.
Nope, not Julie. So she wishes for it to be informally handled.
Okay. Anything for you, Becky?
Nope.
All right. Move on to 9, unfinished business. A, discussion and necessary action on the recommendations from the Plan Commission to adopt ordinance 06-19, an ordinance establishing a plan unit development overlay zoning classification of property located along Hillside Road in the town of Lisbon, tax key LSBT 0205.995, LSBT 0208.987, for the Newman Properties, Inc., and recommendation to Waukesha County the same. All right, so we had delayed this out due to the talking about sewer. I have Don Neitzel here tonight to address any questions the board may have. We have looked at this and looked at the costs involved in it. You guys have some sheets in front of you here tonight showing what the cost would be just to get the sewer to the project. So we're looking at a lift station in the realm of $280,000, and then force mains around $307,000 with engineering at $88,000. So you're looking at $675,000 to get it to there, and that's not including once it's on the property. I did talk to Steve from Newman. We were trying to discuss about what it would cost to run pipe through the project, and he came up with a number around. So it was expensive.
$40,000 a lot?
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing a skyrocketing cost of infrastructure. We're struggling with it. And part of the problem here, Linda, is that those lots wouldn't be as
Steve, do you mind? We're on the TV. Sorry, if you come up to the mic.
Part of the problem is those lots wouldn't have been as large had we contemplated sewer.
Right.
So those lots, I think, are averaging, are they 140 feet wide in some cases. You don't see sewer lots that wide anymore, and this is why. It's because of the cost of the sewer.
Do you think, I don't know if this is appropriate or not, is it to put a mound system in some of these lots, there will be enough room?
Yes, yeah. 30,000 square feet is about the lot size that you need for a mound system.
Minimum.
Yeah.
And how many lots are gonna be mounded there?
We don't know yet.
Yeah, we don't know exactly. We've met with the soil tester who's going to go out and do another testing.
Do you think there'll be any holding tanks?
No.
No.
No. Thank you.
All right. Let's see if I can pull that up. Don, I don't know if you had anything else to add, or Don's just here to answer any questions from the board. I mean, it appears that the sewer end of it.
Based on that. In speaking with Joe, I mean, based on that number of lots and the size of those lots, it's tough for the town even look at recouping the cost, or the developer even putting that infrastructure in. So, based on the layout and the size of the development, I would agree.
So, and actually with the border agreement, it states that the lot size have to be, not that each lot has to be 1 acre, but the overall density has to be around 1 acre. So it isn't a matter of like you could put more dense subdivision here and go down to quarter-acre lots on sewer. It's just not an option per the border agreement at this time. So, it's going to be, I mean, after talking and going over this, I'm going to recommend that we allow this to be developed on conventional septic and mound system. I mean, Steve and I had a lot of talk. We've talked numerous times about this,
Okay.
going back and forth. And I think if sewer was there and the border agreement wasn't an issue, maybe something would be different. But it's we have what we have. I mean, it's not there.
I'm just shocked at 40,000 an acre. A lot. Okay.
And I have some other I can't pull it up on my iPad for the Wi-Fi isn't working on there. Just give me 1 second here. Sherry Howard had put forth some questions, and we had gotten a response back from Kevin, the attorney.
Oh, Wi-Fi's working now.
Is it back up? Well, I'm already here on this one. Give me 1 sec here. This is the correspondence I received from Kevin. I don't think it's printed on the board table here, but do you have, can you pull up Sherry's email too for me? Because for some reason it's not popping up on here. To summarize the project, we're currently at the general development plan stage, so the GDP. And we go over at the plan commission, there's the GDP and the SDP. So, and we're in the GDP stage. With respect to the stormwater management, Lisbon follows the Waukesha County Stormwater Management Ordinance. Sherry had a question about that, and we'll pull that email up here in 1 second. The applicant will be required to meet those standards and go through the Waukesha County process. 2, for the purposes of the GDP, the applicant only needs to provide conceptual provisions for stormwater management. That's been a consistent question, actually, with numerous developments in the town, is how is this going to be affected through stormwater? And as for the easement, assuming there is one, the developer will have to come to an agreement with this easement holder before the plat is approved. So there's a question of whether or not there's, I believe, a stormwater easement there. Where's the other one?
Keep going.
I just went past it.
That one?
Yeah. So these were the questions that Sherry had posed. Does the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources permit runoff from the stormwater management system to discharge in the wetland that flows in a navigable waterway, Sussex Creek? Is this not permitted? Then how will the stormwater, high groundwater issues be addressed for this proposed development? And that's the one that Waukesha County will handle on that end of it. So that was that part. Newman Company stated that the stormwater from the detention pond should be diverted across the property or the proposed development down to Highway 164 via a large swale that would be deep enough to move the large amount of water. Are there safety concerns with children playing near this large, deep swale, especially since it would be quite long? Will the swale be placed as it cannot be developed over the recorded easement from the Payne and Dolan property to 164? And that's what the easement, I believe you guys are working on the easement with Payne and Dolan right now. And that'll have to be, obviously, as Kevin stated, part of the issue
Where is that in
here.
relation to Howard Lane? Where you want to put the flow?
We have to pull up a map.
I'm just curious.
Bring my backpack in.
Do you know?
It's north, so it's the southwest corner of the development. There is an access to 164.
You're fine.
There's like a church there?
It's to the west of the church. The west of the riding club.
So it's not actually on 164?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, it comes down 164, but it's on 164?
Here, this
Connect
is,
to the ditch in 164.
This is a black and white copy here. I don't know if you
Okay,
want,
can I just see that?
or they got a color copy there too.
Okay. Yeah, I know I thought this was gonna be a driveway, right? No. Oh, I thought this was gonna be a driveway connecting to Howard Lane. Oh, it's not, okay. There's only one entrance in. That was my understanding, so this is where the, okay, now I gotcha, thank you. Gotcha, thank you.
Pull that one back up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and as far as how deep the swale is going to be,
It'll be similar to a road, the typical roadside ditch section you see as in all of your rural streets. So I don't anticipate it being any deeper than that. We just make it a little bit wider to be able to accommodate the extra water that might be seen.
Sure.
So it'll be about 2.5 feet deep, and instead of a 2-foot wide bottom, it might be 4 to 6 feet wide to accommodate the extra
Okay.
flow. So
the actual detention ponds, I guess, do we have any idea how deep these are going to be at this?
well, there'll be wet detention basins, so they're a minimum of 5 feet deep per DNR's code. And that's 5 feet depth of water, above the water line to the top of the berm where our detention storage is. That's typically about 4 feet too.
Okay, so they could be up to 9 foot. Okay.
There'll be standard wet detention basins that are seen throughout new developments.
Right.
There's a protocol from the DNR on safety shelves that go in, so 10 to 1 safety shelf, so somebody can't just walk into deep water from the edge. And flow coming down from the outflow will be intermittent just during larger storm events.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't anticipate you'd see any water in it at all on a daily basis.
Okay. So, I mean, we've seen these stormwater, I don't know if it's safe or not, honest to God. I mean, I don't know what to say about some of these stormwater ponds because, quite frankly, I think some of them probably aren't. But if it's what the DNR is, I say DNR, but I mean, Waukesha County and the
Which
DNR.
follows typical DNR standards and what are called technical standards.
Right, because I've had the same question on some of these developments. I mean, you look at these ponds and some of them are near parks. I mean, heck, we got a couple over by Hamilton High School that I kind of question why they are the size they are. But I don't know what else to do about them, to be quite honest.
So you're suggesting that the coming from the retention pond to the ditch is not going to be water filled at all times? That's what you're
It'll be
anticipating?
intermittent, only once a big enough storm comes into the ponds to discharge out. So after a 2-inch storm event, you'll see water flowing through that ditch.
Okay. Next item, does the Town of Lisbon Stormwater Ordinance allow stormwater runoff to be diverted from a development onto another property not owned by the developer? This one if you want to take it, Don.
I mean, part of that, stormwater can't be diverted onto an adjacent property owner if it didn't go there prior to and pre-conditioned, so from their development, there should be nothing discharged anybody's property that wasn't there before. As part of their stormwater design, they have to meet pre-development conditions, so it's basically the same water that's coming off the site, wherever it's going today, should be the same.
Makes sense.
And as far as, so if we're diverting the water to like Sussex Creek, so to say, or wherever it's going. I mean, that's allowed to divert the water for that purpose. I mean, I think that might have been where Sherry was going with this a little bit with the stormwater. I'm not sure, but.
Well, two parts. One part, can it be discharged into the wetlands that they're proposed to discharge it into that they do not own? And that wetlands discharges eventually to be Sussex.
Right, and ultimately, that'll all be part of the permit. So when Waukesha County or the DNR, which is ever more stringent, when they review that, they'll determine all of that.
So the Waukesha County determines if it can be put onto somebody else's property.
To that wetland, yes.
And the next one, the Newman Company stated that 2 large detention ponds would need to be dug deep so that hold the substantial stormwater runoff that currently collects on the property, plus the additional runoff created by the development of the subdivision. These detention ponds will be placed in areas with hydric soils and very high groundwater. What will happen when the developer hits water several feet below the surface? Will they need to berm the ponds to make them deep enough to hold water, like the church in Howard Lane had to do when it was required to add retention ponds? If that's the case, how will stormwater runoff enter the ponds if they are bermed? Also, if bermed, will these ponds perform like the pond at the church, flooding everything worse than before the pond was put in? I don't know if we have the answer to all of those at this point.
I think that's part of their pre-design process in terms of making the ponds work. As they said before, I mean, a normal rain event, the pond should hold it, not even discharge. But on a heavier 2-inch rain event, it's going to discharge, go to the swale, and ultimately go to the ditch. But that's for them to figure out through their design process to make the whole thing work hydraulically. And as I said before, is post-development, they have to meet pre-development conditions. Meaning, so it was ever there before they developed, it has to be that way after.
Okay. And several of my comments in public hearing were not addressed by the Plan Commission or Newman Companies. The revised general development plan removes the Payne and Dolan property from the proposal, but it does not reflect the recorded deed easement for the non-exclusive 16.5-foot wide roadway from the Payne and Dolan property to 164, which entails approximately 1 acre. In addition, the development summary on Exhibit B conceptual plan was not revised to reflect the removal of the 1 acre Payne and Dolan parcel nor the deed easement. I also asked whether the deeded easement can be used in the open space calculation for PUD. And lastly, the lot density and open space calculations, as well as the other statistics in the development summary, should be updated prior to any consideration approval by the town board of the general development plan. So one portion of that was the Payne and Dolan parcel included in the calculations for the on the lot overall density.
It was, so we had 54 lots for the Newman development, and then we added the lot for King and Dolan as the 55th lot.
So if you were not to get the Payne and Dolan property, you would eliminate a one development lot?
Want to double check?
Okay.
And how big is the Payne and Dolan lot? How big is that again? Do you know?
Last time.
Do you know how big the Payne and Dolan lot is?
So what was the specific question?
Did you include, so in your overall density, did you include that Payne and Dolan property? I'm assuming that's what, yeah, and the easement that was addressed before with the plat, that has to be all included? You're asking if they included the easement land?
In the open space calculation, did you include that?
Yes, I think we've included that easement in the open space calculation.
Okay. So do we know how that affects, so right now we're at 1 acre, well, you'd lose a lot, so the 1 acre from the lot would actually, that probably wouldn't hurt you because you're including that, correct? But the easement would.
The 1.45 acres per lot is based on 55 lots. So the density calculation included the
Okay. Are you guys getting anywhere with Payne and Dolan? It's not looking. Mhm. But I mean, that easement right now goes through some of your lots, correct?
No, it does not.
It goes right to the road and then,
It goes south of the lots. It's an easement that doesn't exist.
okay. Which we'll have to have confirmed in the plat. Right.
And the easement will not be needed once the roadways are built.
Right, and I mean, that was the other end of it, if there's a roadway there, but Payne and Dolan, I mean, do we know why they're hanging on to this? Is this for quarrying? Is this for,
They originally bought the lot because they were going to quarry this site.
I mean, we're never gonna allow them to quarry 1 acre.
Right. I think they originally intended to buy the entire northern half of the lot.
Sure.
They're trying to figure out how they got there. Nobody has any history on it there.
How long have they owned that? Any idea?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Different operators at the time.
So, and you guys are in the process of determining whether or not this easement exists. I know you're saying it doesn't, but I mean, we're getting information it does.
The purported easement runs south of lots 34, 35, and 36.
Mhm.
And the easement would become irrelevant when we put the road in.
Do you know about how much acreage that uses up for that easement? It's not gonna put you guys below the 1 acre per dwelling unit minimum.
No.
Why would that affect density?
Well, if you're using it as open space in your calculations, and technically it's an easement,
You would still own the land.
I don't know how you calculate that. I don't, this is a new question.
They'd still have ownership, it would still be open space, it wouldn't have.
Mhm.
any
But even
road
if it
coverage.
didn't, if that wasn't included in that, you guys, I mean, we're at a minimum, we have to be a minimum of 1 acre per unit density. That's for the board agreement. I mean, and you're at 1.45 right now, so
Yeah, that would, it would.
yeah.
We're way beyond what we
I don't know what else to address there, Sherry. And, okay. I'm just trying to get to, the, you know, I told you I'd go through this, and I'm trying to get through as much as I can here with it, so. Okay.
I mean, just to address the stormwater questions, they will have to develop a stormwater management report as part of their permitting. So that's all gonna be done, it'll all be fleshed out and make sure it meets standards and it performs the way it has to.
Okay. All right, I think that was the last one you had in there. So does anyone else have any questions, comments for Don, for anybody from Newman, for the board, staff, anybody, me?
When do you anticipate starting? Yeah, you know, I know it's gonna take a while to go through. I know you said you want to start this year yet.
That option's still on the table. We have to work through the specific development plan.
Thank you, Don.
Plan commission, as well as all the county approvals for zoning still, and stormwater management and such. That process will take another 2 to 3 months yet.
We've got
We'd
more,
like to start grading on it.
yeah. And we've got more processes to go through with the town yet. I mean, we're not done.
Oh, I know.
This is just this is the GDP. I mean, we've got to get down to the finer details. You know, assuming this was approved, we have to move.
The specific development plans are back to the plan commission.
Right.
Right.
And that's got its own set of, right. All right. Any other questions on this? Does anyone wish to make a motion on this item?
I'll make a motion that we establish an ordinance, or pass the ordinance establishing the planned unit development overlay for the property located along Hillside Road, LSBT 205-995 and LSBT 208-987.
Is there a second?
A second.
Would you also reference in your motion the 06-19 as the ordinance?
Yes.
Second, okay with that?
Approves.
Discussion. Everybody understand? Everybody is good? Or at least good enough to make their vote on this? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 10 is new business. A, discussion and necessary action to approve the quote from LaBelle Vernice to epoxy coat the front office countertop not to exceed $1,479.
So when we were going through the painting and the carpet remodel, we were trying to find a way to get the front countertops replaced because the laminate's coming off the front and it just doesn't quite match anymore. And we couldn't find a decent option then unless someone wanted to come in and rip out all the cabinets and countertops, which is crazy expensive. So we just kind of let it go, and then it's small world, word of mouth, actually our treasurer found this LaBelle Vernice. She's having her countertops redone at her house. And she said it's just a simple epoxy overlay. It takes a couple days to set. She would do it in phases because of all the stuff we have on the counter. And for almost $1,500. And what it looks like marble. You know, she can do different colors in it, different swirls. It looks really nice. So we were just thinking just the front stretch, nothing down below. We wanted to do this too, but we didn't know what this would cost yet. We just wanted to get that started and then maybe come back to this if the board wanted. So. Yeah.
I have to say, I've seen these before. I'm addicted to watching those videos on this process.
Watching them.
They are so cool.
It's mesmerizing.
Yeah, and I think it's a really good value for the money. I mean, when you see how pretty the finished product on these are, I kind of am a fan.
Yeah, I started watching the videos too over the weekend. It's hard to stop watching those.
And when would they say they'd be starting this?
Whenever we let them know, it just would take a couple weeks for everything to set, and she's got to sand stuff. So she needs to come in on a Saturday or something. I can let her in and let her work for a couple hours. And,
Okay.
yeah.
I think that I like all of the design stuff, and you've made this place look so professional since, with all of the changes. My one thing is that I would like to see some consistency of design because you have done such a great job of making it not look hodgepodge anymore.
Yep.
That I think that if it's going to be done one place, maybe there's a discount if it's quoted for, anything.
That's what we're going to ask her too, because we just had her come in for that. And then we thought, oh, what about this back here? So we're going to have her come back and give us a quote and add that on and see what it costs. But at least we can get that going, because she's booked out at least 3 weeks already.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, she's popular.
Is there a hurry, though, versus getting a quote for all of it at once?
No, not really. it's waited this long. I can wait another month or
And
so.
there's money left in your office budget for
There
this?
is, yep, there's enough left for the counter and expanding the file room, but I might be able to use other funds for that, so. Yeah, we just have to see what you would charge for that. But it would look nice to get it all done,
Yes.
yeah,
Coordinated, like you say.
yeah.
Well, and I just wonder if there'd be a better price to get it all
Might be.
priced together versus two
Yeah.
separate.
Yeah.
Because she's gonna want our business when
Because
she's
this
doing
certainly
it.
would be easier to do, it's all one section. Yeah. So get a quote for both, come back,
That'd be my,
I can do that.
Okay.
Doesn't hurt, absolutely.
Yeah,
Let's do
doesn't hurt
no
to
action
ask.
on that one then.
Nope, I'll just come back with stuff.
Seeing that's what the board wants to do. And
I'm
does he
fine
ask
with it.
Becky,
Yep.
Yep, all right.
It's okay.
Mark? Just take no action on that. Item 11 is adjournment.
I'll move the we adjourn.
I'll
Moved by
second
Tadia,
it.
seconded by Becky. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You're out at 7:10.